Most people don't lack information today. What they actually lack is clarity. So, welcome to the Signal Brief, where we cut through the noise to deliver verifiable, structured explanations of artificial intelligence, completely without the hype. No speculation, zero hidden agendas, just evidence-based analysis. Today, we're diving into the fundamental differences between the human brain and machine intelligence. Let's get into it. Consider this absurd but entirely true contrast. If you log into an AI like ChatGPT, just like software developer Thomas Potzek did, you can actually ask it to write a passage in the exact style of the King James Bible about removing a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR. In seconds, the machine will seamlessly spit out a syntactically perfect, historically stylized response, complete with phrases like, "And it came to pass that a man was troubled by a peanut butter sandwich." It's hilarious, and honestly, it's a bit surreal. Yet, if you take the most advanced predictive AI models on the planet and ask them to predict whether a high school student will succeed academically, they completely fail. So you have to ask yourself, how can a machine be so brilliantly creative at one task and so entirely useless at another?
Section 1. The Intelligence Illusion. Section 2. From Logic to Networks.
To really understand why this happens, we have to look past the illusion that these machines are somehow sentient and trace how they were actually built. For decades, AI was stuck in this paradigm of hand-coded logic. Basically, programmers fed machines endless if this, then that rules, hoping they could somehow mimic human understanding. But, well, it completely failed. The real pivot comes down to a few historical milestones. In 2009, researcher Fei-Fei Li launched ImageNet. She realized AI didn't actually need cleverer code. It needed massive amounts of data. Then, by 2012, a model called AlexNet used graphics processing units, which are the exact same chips powering your home video game consoles, to process all this data. That breakthrough skyrocketed visual recognition accuracy from 74% to 85% in just a single year. Deep neural networks, which are built on statistics rather than hand-coded logic, officially became the future. Section 3. The Ghost in the Machine. But here's the thing. That massive leap in deep learning capabilities, it wasn't achieved by the machine alone. The intelligence of recognizing a cat or a stop sign wasn't just conjured out of thin air. Researchers Mary Gray and Siddharth Suri identify this invisible foundation as ghost work. There are millions of hidden workers all around the globe on platforms like Mechanical Turk, sitting at computers manually tagging pixels, identifying images, and moderating text for just pennies per task. The machine isn't actually learning in a vacuum. It's appropriating human cognitive labor at a completely unprecedented scale. And this brings up a fundamental category error we consistently make as a society. As author Max Bennett points out, we tend to conflate biological evolution with machine intelligence. Think about it. Your brain was forged by survival over millions of years. That endowed you with causal common sense, an intuitive understanding of how the physical and social world actually works. AI has absolutely no evolutionary grounding. It relies entirely on statistical pattern recognition. It's just tweaking mathematical weights based on the massive data sets built through all that ghost work.
Section 4. Perception versus prediction.
Because of this deep structural difference, there is a massive gap between an AI's ability to perceive physical realities, like seeing that peanut butter sandwich, and predicting complex human outcomes. The second we ask AI to step into the realm of predicting human behavior, the wheels just fall off entirely. Consider the Fragile Families Challenge. This was a massive sociological initiative detailed by researchers Arvind Narayanan and Sayash Kapoor. Over the course of 15 years, 16 teams of top data scientists used a staggering 10,000 data points per child to predict life outcomes, things like future GPA or the risk of eviction. With that much data, you would expect incredible foresight, right? Well, the result was that the most advanced AI performed barely better than a random coin flip. It hovered right around a 50% accuracy rate. And we see this failure repeatedly in incredibly high-stakes environments. Take the Compass algorithm. It's a predictive AI tool widely used right now in the United States criminal justice system to guess the likelihood of a defendant committing a future crime. Despite being adopted everywhere to make literally life-altering decisions, the data proves it operates with a relative accuracy of only 64%. It is barely more accurate than a group of random people on the internet just guessing who might reoffend. Plus, it is rife with automated discrimination. This is exactly why researchers Arvind Narayanan and Sayash Kapoor published their crucial taxonomy in their book AI Snake Oil. They argue we have to strictly differentiate between easy AI and impossible AI. Easy AI handles perception. That's things like transcribing speech, generating text, or identifying a face. But impossible AI, the act of predicting complex social outcomes for individuals, acts as little more than an elaborate random number generator. Selling it to institutions as a reliable tool is, quite literally, selling snake oil.
Section 5. The Common Sense Gap.
So, why does it fail so badly? This brings us to the core limitation of modern machine learning. It's something algorithms simply cannot compute. We call it the common sense gap. It's this invisible space between the hard data a machine can actually process and the incredibly chaotic reality of human life. Think of what we call the blueberry anecdote. An algorithm can easily crunch 10,000 recorded variables about a student's income, their zip code, and their past test scores. But it remains completely blind to the unrecorded butterfly effect of human lives. For example, it cannot account for a supportive neighbor who notices a struggling student, sits down to help them with their homework, and feeds them a bowl of blueberries. That single, unrecorded act of kindness can alter the trajectory of a child's life entirely. But to a machine that relies purely on historical spreadsheets, that life-altering signal simply does not exist. As AI researcher Melanie Mitchell expertly points out in her book, Artificial Intelligence, A Guide for Thinking Humans, machines lack foundational world knowledge. They are susceptible to brittle failures because they do not understand the concepts they manipulate. When a machine beats you at chess, it feels no joy. When it generates a Bible verse about a VCR, it has absolutely no idea what bread is, what a VCR is, or what religion even means. It is simply manipulating statistical concepts, and that leads to spectacular and sometimes very dangerous, brittle failures when we deploy them in the real world. Section 6. The key question. To understand exactly where this critical gap between perception and prediction leads us and how it directly impacts society, you really need to explore these specific cross-referenced explainers. I highly recommend diving into Season 5, Episode 1, What is Intelligence Really? Also check out the Season 5 explainer on whether superintelligence is an existential risk or just hype. And finally, explore the case for building human-compatible AI in Season 8. Watch, question, and explore farther. This leaves us with one final, essential question to think about. If an engineered machine entirely lacks basic causal common sense, if it cannot actually understand the physical world or the incredible social nuances of a human life, is it truly intelligent? Or is it just a staggeringly powerful statistical engine built on the backs of invisible ghost workers? This is the Signal Brief, cutting through the noise to focus on the signal. If you want to keep exploring the verifiable evidence behind the AI revolution, hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next explainer.